Guys, what's good? It's your boy Phil. Today we are talking about One Punch Man redraw season. Yes, sir. Chapter 110, the redraw, waifu versus waifu. We knew this was going to happen, right? We knew this was going to happen. Obviously, this redraw was much needed after the last one. Fubuki versus Super S. It's happening. Well, it happened, actually. This is actually an interesting chapter. There's some weird things tossed around in this chapter that are pretty interesting and might be more important later on. Like the demonsterization of people and all that shit. So that's really interesting. We'll see if that becomes more important later on, especially with Garo. They were even teasing that later on. So obviously we already know what happens to Garo, like in the current chapters we're on. But we'll see if maybe this dude could get demonsterized. They were talking about like the heart and shit and stuff like that. I don't know. A lot of interesting things getting tossed around in this chapter. It was a chill one. Nothing crazy. But without further ado, let's talk about the shit. Let's do it. So the actual Super S versus Fubuki fight, it's pretty chill. They just get whipping at each other and shit. Super S she really wants the dude a my mask, right? She really wants the dude. I can't blame her. Can you blame her? I can't blame her, but yeah, that's her drive for everything. I'm very interested in Super S for obvious reasons, but also because she seems not to give a shit about anyone seeing her face anymore. Remember, that was a major thing back in like the original chapter. Like she was like, "Oh my god, you saw my face. What the fuck? I have to kill you now." Yeah, that's not a thing anymore. She really doesn't give a shit. So maybe we see more Super S with the weird face. We see more of that? I don't know. But anyways, Fubuki and Bang and Bomb, they just destroyed the whole Super S squad that she brought. And they fuck her up. They tie her up, all that shit. And they get to whipping her. And the Super S enjoy it? I think she does. It's kind of weird. Weird chapter. A lot of weird vibes. But anyways, they capture her. They're like, hey, take me to wherever the fuck Garo is. And she tricks her and they end up summoning Rover. So that's interesting. This ties all the way into how they encounter Rover, which is pretty cool. And maybe there's going to be some continuity there. Maybe we won't need a redraw. Maybe we'll need like one, maybe. Do we get the whole Rover fight redrawn? I don't think so. We might, though, now that we have all these fucking civilians running all over the place. Yeah, that's kind of a major thing. This chapter. So let's talk about the civilians, right? Super S has a bunch of civilians that are half monsterized. They're half monsterized, and somehow Bang, Bomb, and Fubuki end up, when they snap out of the Super S, trance they're in, they become unmonsterized. So this is going to lead into later narratives, probably when we get into more Garo action and maybe some other monsters down the line. And now they're running all over the place. They had to herd them into the sewers or into the subway, I think, to dodge the Rover blast that got sent. So someone's got to take charge of these civilians now. And this is probably going to lead to some more redraws. So we'll see who takes charge of them. I'm sure it's going to be Bang Bomb or Fubuki. Or maybe someone else. It kind of looks like the tunnel that my boy Saitama was in back in the original Orochi fight. Maybe that's a callback to that. Maybe Saitama ends up running into them. But last time I saw Saitama... Yeah, I don't know. I'm confused. Someone's got to take charge of these civilians, though. I don't think they're going to get out on their own. And we'll see what happens with them. That was kind of a major thing that got thrown into the mix in this chapter. And there's some continuity problems now, man. Holy shit. Dude, I every time there's a new redraw, I try to formulate, based off the chapter, how many more there's gonna be. And I'm starting to lose track. I've been losing track for a while now, but there's a lot of things. Fun fact for you, Super S gets tossed into a pit in the end of this chapter. And there's been a lot of monsters who get tossed in pits nowadays. And usually when they get tossed in a pit, they come back. So we'll see who Super S runs into. My money's on we're not done with her yet. And I'd be interested if Super S comes back in like chapter 150, where all the new shit is happening. I'd be interested if we see her there, because that'd be pretty cool. Like I said last One Punch Man video, I want Super S to come back post 150 so that we don't need redraws of, you know, everything that already happened. So we'll see if that happens. She fell in a pit. I hope she doesn't run into Orochi or anybody like that. She might. That's probably the most plausible, you know, thing that happens. She runs into Orochi. I could see her running into like King or somebody. I don't know if she's gonna get thrown into the Garo mix. I know they teased Garo a little bit in this chapter. I don't think that's gonna happen. There's a lot of possibilities where she gets thrown exactly. My money though is probably on Orochi. Maybe. We'll see if she gets thrown into that collapsing cavern. That's the last time we saw Orochi. And obviously Orochi has to come back for the big Psychos and Orochi fusing. So we'll see if that happens. I don't know, man. Redraws. This was a chill one. I mean, it was cool. But we're not done. We're not done with redraws. I hate to be that guy. I know I'm always the pessimistic guy. I try to be optimistic. I try to be, hey, maybe we're going to get the next chapter. Maybe we're going to get 150. Maybe we're going to get the new one. But it just doesn't look that way to me. I'll be real with you. I think it's redraw season, boys. Guys, that's the chapter. That's all the major things that happened this chapter. Let me know down below. What do you think about this chapter? What do you think is going down? Where do you think Super S is falling? Because she's not dead, obviously, right? She's definitely not dead. We'll see what happens with her. And obviously, yeah, this is going to tie into the Rover fight. Fubuki, all of them going to fight Rover. Good shit there. I think we're due for a Gyoro redraw. So maybe that's the next one we get. Again, in this arc, in this Monster Association arc, all the things are happening like at the same time. So we'll see what happens next. My big worry with the redraw, the one thing I really don't want them to touch, I don't want them to touch Garo versus Darkshine. That's been #1 on my list for a while now. That's the one thing I didn't want them to touch at all. I didn't want them to touch Orochi versus Saitama. They ended up doing that. And some of the changes I was really cool with. Some of them, obviously, the big hype moments, I wasn't very cool with. But I have a feeling we might get some of that later down the line if we get more Orochi action, which I think we will. Because Orochi, due to the redraws, is a more fleshed out character now. So, we'll see what happens. Guys, as always, I'll see you in the next one. Redraw season. It's here. We'll see if it stays. I'll see you. Peace out.